you, I don't know, maybe shortly. It's going to get my adrenaline going so much that it's like I want to get the rest of the news out of the way before I begin getting that angry. President Assad on Saturday has announced a two-stage pullout of Syrian forces from the Lebanese border, but he failed to address broad international demands that he completely withdraw Syria's 15,000 troops after nearly 30 years in the country. Assad also did not respond to the president's demand just a day earlier that Syria withdraw all its troops and intelligence agents from Lebanon before its parliamentary elections in May. Islamic terror groups are becoming increasingly active in Germany and coordinating, apparently, with militants across Europe to recruit fighters to join the insurgency, help in Iraq, of course, equipping them with such needy items as fake passports, money, medical supplies. Security officials say that it's one of the best examples of the cross-continent cooperation involved, and one involved an Algerian man arrested in Germany and now on trial in Italy for allegedly helping Muslims from Somalia, Egypt, Iraq, and Monaco recruit some 200 militants from all around Europe to join the fight in Iraq. A team of U.S. and Ethiopian scientists has discovered the fossilized remains of what they believe is humankind's first walking ancestor, a hominid that lived in the wooded grasslands of the Horn of Africa about 4 million years ago. The bones were discovered in February at a new site called Mill in the northeastern Afar region of Ethiopia. According to Bruce Latimer, director of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History in Ohio, they're estimated to be about 3.84 million years old. And finally, world news-wise, a new Social Security war room inside the Treasury Department is pumping out information to sell President Bush's plan, much like any political campaign might do. It's part of a coordinated effort by the Bush administration. The internal taxpayer-funded campaigning is backed up by television advertisements, grassroots organizing, and lobbying from business and other groups that support the Bush plan. The president's opponents are organized as well, though they do not, of course, enjoy the resources of the White House or Treasury to sell their message. Now, I'm not sure. The president's plan is to allow some certain portion of Social Security money, your money, to be put into the stock market so that it might earn more money would be, I guess, the selling point. But what if the market crashes? Or better said, perhaps, when the market crashes, what's going to happen? You know, this whole idea of putting people's Social Security money into the stock market, I think, is nothing but a big blame-shifting operation. Now, what do I mean by a blame-shifting operation? Well, you see, I, like most other people, I think that it's clear that if nothing else happens, Social Security is doomed. I heard something the other day about, well, if you're 55 years or older, well, you're okay, but if you're not, then you're not okay. I think it's doomed. So, here's what I think. I think the administration knows it's doomed. And this way, if you take a good portion of your Social Security and you put it into the stock market, the market crashes and you lose your money. When the entire Social Security program goes kaboom, then they can shift the blame onto you, you see. They can say, well, hey, you invested your money and it didn't go well, and that's your choice. You know, you took that chance. And, of course, that would be right, but it'll be really shifting the blame because now for administrations, 3 at least, the government has been stealing that money. That's where the real blame ought to go. But you see, if the money is off into the stock market and things go wrong for you, well, then they can blame you. instead of you blaming them. Over the years, they have taken the money from the Social Security Fund that now makes it nearly not solvent, or soon not solvent. And this way, instead of you blaming them, i.e. the government can say to you, well, you just made a bad investment. Anyway, that's how in a moment, some of the other, I'm still trying to get it out kind of news before I get angry type news. But it's interesting stuff, so stay right there. This one's a real winner. There's I guess a website or a hosting site for the modern version of rants, which they choose to call blogs. Blogs are really just people, letting loose with what they want to say. And it's kind of an area where, anybody can say anything, and sure enough. On this site called Negative Zero, it had subheadline, their slogan, I guess, keeping it real one day at a time. Keeping it real one day at a time, really. Well, until about 2 days ago, there was this detailed plan. Well, let me read you a little bit of it. It says, all right, everyone, we're going to be part of one of the largest hoaxes ever. Don't post this on any other message boards. Read below for details. If you tell anyone, tell only those you know in real life, underlined, in real life. The great internet UFO hoax. On Saturday, March 19th, many people on the internet will hoax the world with the biggest mass UFO sighting in years. The craft will zoom around the United States, and the world will, according to the diagram and the link, and they had a diagram and link, all times are Kim unless otherwise noted. Note to you all, you can't get in trouble for reporting this to any of the following. You have my 100% guarantee. Also, all reports can be made anonymously. What the blank do I report seeing? And then it goes into exactly what you should report. Because the above is a rough estimate of what you saw, craft with 4 lights, 2 of which, anyway, it goes on describing the craft that all these people in different time zones would presumably hear, and then report. He listed just about every single UFO reporting agency in the world, certainly in the U.S., and he listed my program to call up and, fake it, get through, and just say what you saw, and we're going to have this giant hoax on the 19th of the month. So, naturally, it got sent to me, and I went on the site myself, and I just wrote a comment down at the bottom, which said, hey, idiot, you're busted, Art Bell. Next day, site gone. It was just gone. So, I guess they're back to the drawing board on the big hoax. What a stupid idea. So there it is, folks, from Negative Zero, keeping it real one day at a time. Ha! While we're into the subject, someone asked, Clark, have you noticed any weird animal behavior? You get anything from California people on weird animal behavior? No, but I do have a couple of stories about weird animal behavior, all right? Try this one. Headline is, Spate of Canine Suicides from Bridge Baffling Animal Experts on a wet and windy winter's day on the west coast of Scotland. The ancient borough of Dumbarton can appear bleak and depressing. The once fashionable and prosperous shipbuilding center is now little more than a suburb of Glasgow, and it appears even some of the dogs have lost the will to live. Animal behaviorists are concerned at an apparent spate of canine suicides in the town after at least 5 dogs are said to have thrown themselves from an historic bridge in the past 6 months. In the once landscape grounds of Overton House, a country mansion built in 1863 with ornate religious symbolism in the words, fear God and keep his commands carved into the walls, the bridge is fast becoming known as Rover's Leap. Following a rash of unexplained incidents in which family pets have simply decided to leap to their deaths from the bridge, animal welfare experts are warning owners to keep their dogs on a tight leash. See, animals, dogs anyway, don't commit suicide. They have a very strong sense of fight or flight, according to Doreen Graham of the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The incidents at the bridge are indeed of a very great concern to us because we'd like to understand why they're happening. In the latest, a woman was shocked to see her dog suddenly just vault over the top of the bridge and plunge 40 feet to its death with no apparent reason. And this is now 5 dogs that have done this. Have you ever heard of anything like that in your life? I know you've heard of this. More than 20 rough-toothed dolphins have died since Wednesday's beaching by about 70 of the marine mammals. Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary spokesperson Cleva Heck said Saturday. About a day or so before the dolphins swam ashore, the USS Philadelphia, it seems, had conducted exercises with the Navy SEALs just off Key West, about 45 miles from Marathon, where the dolphins became stranded. Navy officials didn't have a word to say when they were asked if the submarine based at Groton, Connecticut, might have used sonar during the exercise. They were mum. Some scientists surmise that loud bursts of sonar, which can be heard for miles and miles in water, may perhaps disorient or scare marine mammals, causing them to surface too quickly and suffer the equivalent of what divers know as a bends. Or I guess you could say they're committing suicide. Right? If a fish, or dolphin, stays intentionally swims upon shore where you know it's going to die, it is in essence committing suicide, right? Maybe I ought to get this one out. Solar flares and frigid temperatures are believed to be working with human chemicals to eat away at the protective ozone layer above the North Pole, surprising scientists who have been looking for evidence that the planet's ozone layer might be healing. You see, by now, it was thought that the particles, CFCs, that were going into the ozone layer and destroying it would have, since we banned them, it should be healing up. But we're having a problem. The ozone layer protects Earth from dangerous ultraviolet radiation, which can cause skin cancer, right? Last winter, Arctic ozone declined more precipitously than ever before in the upper atmosphere, probably because of violent storms on the sun's surface, according to at least one idea. And in recent days, a lower layer of ozone has undergone an extraordinary thing because of a level of bitter cold, get this folks, about minus 110 degrees Fahrenheit, rarely seen in the Arctic in man-made chemicals. One Colorado scientist has raced north to try and document the event. They expect now to perhaps sputter out within days, so he's got to get there very quickly. The two unusual findings have experts worried that they don't fully understand the dynamics of ozone depletion. Now, here's a couple of more things to be perhaps concerned about. You decide. These two items were in a local Tacoma, Washington newspaper called Earth Week. Quoting it directly, scientists measuring the temperature and salinity of deep waters in the Southern Ocean warned that recent changes there could have a major impact on global climate. Ben Chertoff is here from Popular Mechanics, and he's talking about the science of the collapse of buildings in New York and the Pentagon as well, and a whole lot of other things are involved in the crazy claims out there. We'll get back to them one by one in a moment. You know, a lot of these are technical claims made, and we're going to deal with those, but you know, to me it's embarrassing that the second biggest claim would be no stand-down order, that our military had been virtually told to keep all the planes on the ground and not challenge people who are about to blow up our our buildings. But nevertheless, there it is. No stand-down order. Deal with that one, Ben.
Well, this is one of my favorites because it's incredibly complicated. And to a certain extent, it's one of the more compelling claims that you see bounced around. It's sort of the basis of the whole theory. I mean, if the government was going to make this happen, it has to be some sort of stand-down. It's sort of the be-all, end-all theory. But and also it shows that a lot of these conspiracies they have such animosity towards the government, yet have this assumption that everything is going to in the government is going to work like clockwork. You know, if a plane is off course for just a second, it's going to immediately be sent by fighter jets.
Yeah.
Which, of course, on the morning of September 11th was not the case because NORAD, which is the North American Air Defense Command, which is the military body that is responsible for protecting U.S. and Canadian airspace, that was set up during the Cold War, and the infrastructure of NORAD was looking outwards for threats. They had radar stations that run the coast. Since September 11th,